All right, so we're checking out a new electric bike here from a new company on the channel called Wooken. They have a number of different models, but they don't have names for their models, strangely. So this is just basically like I guess they're calling it their fat tire mountain e-bike, and looks pretty generic, although the battery is pretty big in this one. So typical 48 volt setup on this particular e-bike. They're pretty standard for most models on the market now. So 48 volts and 13 amp hours for the battery, which is removable, as you can see there. And there's a little lock right there to take the battery out. 13 amp hours, 624 watt hours. Range on this battery is going to be 45 to 60 miles of range. So 45 miles on throttle only, and up to 60 miles on pedal assist. And frame construction overall is pretty nice. I think it's an alloy, very clean. You don't really see too many wells. Like there's a well right there, but pretty nice. Paint job's pretty solid. It's got sort of this like white sort of fleck paint on there, a little bit of reflection, and comes in other colors. I think black is the other one. Check the link in the description. Of course, if you want the stealth look, go for the black color because the battery is black, as you can see here. The battery is UL 2849 certified and is waterproof rated. So for those of you concerned about batteries, UL certification does definitely help there. And the charger for the battery is a 3 amp fast charger, so it'll charge it from empty to full in about 4 to 5 hours. And of course, in the back here, we got a 48 volt motor. Can't really see the markings on there, but yeah, it's 48 volts. It's a 500 watt nominal power motor, 1025 watt peak, 60 newton meters of torque, which will give you climbing capabilities up to 15 degrees inclines and a max speed of 20 miles per hour. It is a class 2 certified e-bike. In the back here, you got a Shimano, looks like a Cherney SIS 7-speed derailleur, and we have our CST 20 by 4 inch fat tires, and we have a traditional spoke system here for the rims. There's a plastic derailleur guard here in the front, a chain guard, and it's on both sides. In the front here, we've got a small headlight and reflector, and got a front fork suspension with a lockout and adjustment. It's about 40 millimeters of travel on that. Pretty generic. And again, got a front fender here, plastic. Got one also in the rear, as well as a rear rack. The bike weighs 71.3 pounds and has a max load rating of 286 pounds. You can see here the seat height is adjustable, and this bike can accommodate riders from 5'2" to 6'4". And I'll put up the pertinent dimensions here, a little diagram on all the important dimensions on the bike. Here's a look at the front disc brake rotor, 160 millimeters, and this is a mechanical disc brake. I think this is a generic mechanical disc brake. And here's a look at the rear disc brake, also 160 millimeter rotor, again mechanical disc brakes here. And over here on this side is the charge port for the battery. Here's a look at the seat. It is memory foam, fairly comfortable, but pretty standard in size, and it does have a little bit of a spring here in the back and a small reflector. And then there's also a reflector here in the back as well, but there's no tail lights or turn lights. Here's a look at the handlebar. Got your half twist throttle over here, your Shimano 7-speed shifter here, and your mechanical disc brakes. Pretty standard ergonomic grips. Here's the bike controller. Long press the power button to turn it on. And it is pretty bright today, and it is fairly readable in bright sunlight. Got your headlight button here and your horn. That's pretty standard. Wire management. Cable management here is very basic. It works pretty clean, no complaints. The handlebar can be folded down here. You do have to assemble this out of the box. This does not come assembled, so you have to make sure you line up this, otherwise your handlebar will be out of alignment with the front wheel, but they do have little markers there for that. But you can fold it down and also adjust your handlebar angle with this lever here. In terms of the overall assembly of the bike, just got to put the handlebar stem in, got to put the front wheel in, and the front fender and headlight, and the seat. The rear rack and the rear fender were installed from the factory, and of course it came pretty standard, tons of foam and zip ties, pretty well packed, as most e-bikes do these days. So when we turn on the bike, it comes out in pedal assist level 0, which is basically no power, and there should be 5 levels. Yeah, 5 levels of pedal assist, and you got your basic speedometer and odometer readings there. Go ahead and give this a ride. Do speed tests, of course, as always, and then I'll give you my thoughts and final conclusions at the end. All right, starting off in pedal assist level 1 from standstill. And on this one here, the motor kicks in about 3/4 of a crank, so of a rotation of the pedals. And yeah, pretty standard here, and it looks like it's not giving full power on pedal assist level 1. It's pretty, I guess, low power. Should match the pedal assist level. So it looks like about 8.3 miles per hour, and I'm pretty sure this is a cadence sensor. Feels like a cadence sensor to me. Let's go ahead, bump it up to level 2. Yep, getting a little bit more power now. Now we're at about 10 miles an hour, 9.8. So it looks like it kind of gives you a little bit of a burst, and then it backs off the power. So 9.8 miles per hour. Let's go to level 3. Yeah, I am definitely freewheeling already. I'm only in gear 4, so it's definitely a cadence sensor. And again, it bursts up to like 13 miles an hour, 13 point something, and it backs off. So I'm getting about 12.7 here. So definitely a cadence sensor here. And let's go to level 4. So freewheeling for sure. Got big burst, 16.6, and now it's backing off. Let's see what it maintains here. 15.5, it looks like. Yeah. All right, so let's go to level 5. And should get max power now. Yep. Freewheeling, but power is still coming on, and hit about 20.5 miles an hour, then it backed off. The motor cut off. The motor kind of cuts in and cuts out to maintain that around 20 miles an hour, but it's a little bit jerky actually. So I'll show you that again. So what it's doing is it bursts up to like 20, a little over 20 miles an hour. Then the motor cuts off. And then it drops down to like 19, and then it cuts back in again. And okay, then it's maintaining about 19.7, 19.8 miles per hour. So it's a little bit like kind of up and down, and then I guess it finds, once the speed is sort of stabilized, it basically finds that sweet spot and maintains that speed without jerking around too much. It just kind of jerks around a little bit initially. All right, so coming to a complete stop. Back to pedal assist level 1. Now we're just going to do throttle only. And it looks like the speed levels are matching the pedal assist level, but it looks like it's a little bit slower. So about 5.9 miles per hour in pedal assist level 1 on throttle only. Let's go to pedal assist level 2. Yeah, again, the motor bursts up and then it cuts off. And we're about 9.7 on level 2. I think that's the same as before. Let's go to level 3. Yeah, you can hear the motor bursts up and then it cuts off. It's like 13 something, and then now it's coming down to like 12.7. I think these are the same. So just level 1 was a little bit slower. Probably because we were pedaling and actually providing additional speed at that lower speed from the pedals. Now again, in level 4, we're at 15.5 miles per hour. That is the same. All right, now going to level 5. Let's go around this turn here. Gonna hit the brakes. Gonna hit, see if we hit 20 miles an hour before the end of the street here. Yep, went to 20 miles an hour. So it does accelerate pretty quick, but the 20 mile an hour speed limiter does kick in, of course, to maintain that level or class 2 e-bike rating. Regarding unlocking, I don't know. There's no instructions that I could find about unlocking to class 3, so you'll have to contact the manufacturer for that information. All right, so here are my thoughts on this e-bike. Not a lot different from many others in this same price class. So you'll find that ones with a 500 watt motor are going to be around the same price point, and for the most part, I don't really see much that is better or worse than compared to a lot of the other e-bikes with the same kind of motor in the same price point. The cadence sensor on this controller works in the typical fashion, powers up the motor and brings the bike up to speed, and then it cuts off, and then eventually once the speed is stabilized, it'll kind of turn on and off in sort of slow increments. And that's kind of what I'm doing right now as I'm pedaling here. Overall, the bike's very comfortable. Really no complaints. The seat, I actually like the seat in this one a lot. It's standard size, but it's got that memory foam, so if you're concerned about comfort, this one definitely is quite comfortable. I do like the step-through feature on this one, so for those of you that have difficulties getting on and off a bike, the step-through feature definitely is a really good plus. Now, I haven't actually done any off-roading or mountain biking with this one, but obviously with 20 by 4 inch fat tires and a front fork suspension, I've reviewed many of these, and it's very typical. Nothing extraordinary about it, but again, it works. It's nothing really bad about it either. Definitely functions perfectly fine. Overall, the build of the bike, the quality of the bike is pretty good for the price point, and also in line with many of the other ones I've reviewed in the past. Now, I think that the batteries are getting a little bit bigger these days for this price point. So typically at this price point, you'll see batteries in the 10 amp hour range, and this is a 13 amp hour battery. So again, I guess that's about 25% more capacity, which equals more range. For those of you that want more range on your batteries, then you're definitely getting it these days. But of course, that comes at a slightly bit of a cost in terms of extra weight. So you are carrying that extra weight around on the bike. Now, that being said, even when you're at pedal assist level 0, and if your battery is dead, pedaling the bike around on these, the shifter here, you just get down to low gear, it is definitely rideable and on, basically no battery power. So if you're concerned about it being too heavy for actually riding as a regular bike, it's not terrible. But again, it is heavier, so if you're on hills with no battery, then that could pose an issue. Anyway, overall, pretty good value for this e-bike. Definitely check it out down in the video description. There'll be a link, possibly some coupon codes that will come and go, so it depends on when you're watching this video. Let me know if you got any questions, comments, etc. Leave them down below, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.